Today on the Superset series, we have Lanie Deppe. She is the Assistant Director of Sports Performance at Old Dominion University. Today we are going to talk about, as a female strength coach, how are you demanding the respect of your male athletes? How are you training them? For those that do not know you, can you give a little bit of background about yourself?
Sure. So I went to Indiana University. I was a rower there. Was an intern there after I graduated. And as soon as I put a little bit of time there, a job opened up out of LaSalle in Philadelphia as a GA, and I was out there for about 10 months, and then was lucky enough to go back to IU as a full-timer. Was there for about 6-7 years, and then got a call, went to ODU, and here I am.
When working with male teams, how do you set the tone, from the get-go?
I almost look at it as it's not any difference if it's a male or female. It's an athlete, and then the second that you try to make it different as like a male versus a female is the second that it is. And they notice if you treat them differently, or if you're coaching them differently, talking to them differently. And so I don't even look at it in that aspect. They're an athlete. And so I just set the tone as I would with anyone else. And so I'm a very detailed, oriented sort of coach. Discipline approach, just make sure everything is done right and at a high intensity. And so once that is kind of set and laid in, then we just kind of go from there. And if we need to kind of brush back on some details, we need to. But like I said, when it comes down to it, they're an athlete. So that's all it is.
Because I know that some coaches feel like a male coach feels like they have to approach a female team differently than they do their male teams. So, what would you think about the comparison there?
Sure. I guess I can get that, and especially people who haven't really had much experience coaching, if they've only coached males or if they only coach females. But, I've been lucky enough to do both, and I've been lucky enough to coach anywhere from football players to volleyball players, and everything in between. And so really, like I said, when it comes down to it, is getting to know the personality of the athlete, and everyone takes in a different way, and it's just a matter of getting to know that of each person. And some people need you get in their face and they respond that way, and they need that little extra bit of motivation. And some people, you just kind of pull them aside and say, hey, listen, we need to work on this needs to change. It's just about getting to know that. And really, like I said, if it's male or female, it doesn't matter. It's just the personality of the athlete and getting to know what makes them tick and going from there.
As a female strength coach, what are some of the challenges that you face, with those teams? You say that, okay, well, they're an athlete, this and that, but what, because obviously there's always a different barrier there than there is, with other teams. So what are some challenges that you face as a female strength coach?
I guess right off the bat would have to be the stereotype. It's obvious, and some people can't get over that. But I like to say that the second you see me coach is the second you get rid of that, because I may be one way as a person and really personable outside the weight room or whatever it may be. But the second you hit my weight room floor, it's go time. And like I said, it doesn't matter if you're a male or female, if you play golf, you play football, whatever it is. We're going to get work done. And I'm a very loud coach. I'm a very assertive coach. I'm a very excitable coach. It's just kind of the way I am. And so you feel that right off the bat, and you kind of don't really, hopefully, you wouldn't have to question kind of where I'm coming from anymore.
With a female's perspective, do you feel like, you have, because you played sports in college, you were a rower, what are some, as a female athlete, female coach, do you feel like you have, a better, perspective for those female teams than, say, a male strength coach would?
I would say more so the male strength coach intern. As a male strength coach, there's a lot more male strength coaches than there are females, and so. I would think that if you're a male strength coach, by that point you would have had experience with a lot of female teams. But a lot of places I've been, it typically is the interns, and they're just so afraid of what they can and can't say to a female athlete. They're going to hurt their feelings. they think they're emotional, that sort of stuff. But again, it's just kind of laying it out there as like, listen, they're an athlete and they want to get better and they want to go hard. And that's all it comes down to. And as soon as you treat them that way, they will respond that way. And again, it's a matter of, you may need to be more assertive with some people. You may need to be more laid back and just kind of off to the side with some athletes. But that's just with any sport. That's with any athlete, any team. It's just getting to know them, and as a coach, you kind of have to be that chameleon and adapt yourself to the situation. And it's really getting to know, or getting the experience in how to read those situations and change yourself. That's really something that you get with experience as a coach.
Do you feel like you coach, different from team to team, or is it mostly, this is the way, straight and narrow, that's the only way that I do things, or do you switch things up from team to team?
Very different. I'm very different, but it's not even necessarily from team to team, which it is. It's day to day, because athletes come in and they have good days and they have bad days and they have things going on in their personal lives. They have school problems, all that sort of stuff. They may have just had a hard practice with the coach and the coach may have just ripped them a little bit, and those happen. And so it's a matter of adapting to the situation. And again, it's you want to get the most out of the athlete each day. And so you really just have to be able to read those situations. And so it is changing your style, with that, but it is also from team to team, because like I said, each team comes in every single day. It's very different. Athletes are very different. And then aside from that, you have the in-season, the out-of-season, the postseason, the preseason, all that sort of stuff. And during each one of those segments of the time of year, the athlete is going to need different demands. And some days in the off-season, I'm thinking of fall sports, when they hit the January, February months, I always say that the month of February is dreaded for athletes because they're indoors a lot. Spring break isn't for a long, long time, and so they're tired of training and they're sore and tired of waking up and all that sort of stuff. So you got to be able to get that little bit out of yourself. Bring them a little bit more energy, a little bit more high intensity than maybe they not need in the in-season, because they have a game in 2 days and they're already pumped up and excited about that. But it's just a matter of, again, reading the athletes and getting to know kind of what they need on that daily basis and going from there.
As those young strength coaches come up, even with strength coaches that have a similar experience to you, what's some advice that you would give them?
Network. Don't ever stop networking and talking to as many people as you possibly can, not only at conferences. Don't be afraid to call a strength coach at another school that you don't even know, or email them that you've never even met. Just to reach out to them, say, hey, I really am interested in what you do with this team or whatever it may be. I heard you do this sort of style of training. I'm not real comfortable with it. Can you tell me a little bit more about it? More often than not, a strength coach will want to reach back out to you, because, this is an ever-growing field. The more you get to know, the better the field's going. Not only you're going to get better, you're going to get the field's going to get, because if we're that kind of professional that tries to hide secrets and training methods and all that sort of stuff, that's not helping anyone. No one's growing from that. And so, strength coaches want to get better, and whoever it is from, and whether it's from interns, GAs, full-times, vets in the field, it doesn't matter. You can learn from everyone. And so reach out to as many people as you can and trying to get that experience. But not only that, in the school that you work with, network in the school that you work with, whether it be IT people, people that work in internal relations, whatever it is. It's always kind of building your character and your self to try to get to know as many people as possible, because you never know who they'll know at another school, who they know knows another person that could get you connected somewhere else, and just really expand your network from there, because it could come from anyone. And so it's always good to have good relationships with people, get to know as many as possible. And then aside from that, don't ever stop learning, because the second you think that you learned it all and know everything in this field is the second you should be done as a coach. There's so much out there, and there's always stuff coming out, and you should be constantly evolving and changing as a coach. And like I said, if you're not changing and adapting and growing, you're not getting as far as you probably could be as a coach. And so networking, and then, like I said, educating yourself is probably the best advice I can give to someone.
Like, if you give advice to the female strength coach out there, what would that be? Beside, I mean, okay, so you touched on networking, but female strength coaches, what's some advice you would give them?
Do not let your gender hold you back, or do not let the stereotype of you think what may be out there about you, and like I said, being a female strength coach, hold you back from anything. Or don't be afraid to be assertive. Don't be afraid to be the loudest coach on the floor, because when it comes down to it, it's about athletes responding to you. It doesn't matter if you're male or female. They want to get better, and they will respond to whoever is going to have the most energy out there, is going to be the one that's willing to help them. And so as soon as you can kind of just get rid of all of that and really just kind of think to yourself, I'm a coach, and that's all it is, and it's all it comes down to, the better you're going to be off. It's just getting rid of that, being afraid of that. Oh, like, I'm a female, I'm not going to get as far as a male. Absolutely not. That's not the case at all. And you're, like I said, you're a coach when it comes down to it, and so you just got to be one.
Very cool. Well, I really appreciate you coming on for the Superset series. I've told you many times how great of a person I think you are, but I really respect everything that you do, and I wish you luck with anything you do in the future.
Appreciate it, Zach. You too.
All right.